in Jerusalem, Israel. This is my hotel room, and I'm actually not too far from the old city. I'm across the street from the infamous King David Hotel. Um, I asked everybody to send me your questions for 2024, and you guys asked a lot of questions. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do the empath's prayer. We'll start with the general predictions for 2024, and then I'll probably do a series of videos because there's there's just too much. So good to speak to everybody. I had a great time in Jerusalem. I'm going to probably now head back to the Tel Aviv area. Um, Got my little bring them home. I purchased one of the memorabilia for the hostages when I was in the old city. I also got some really nice pictures I'll be able to show you. Got a Seder plate for my sister for Passover, and spent good quality time with good friends. So overall, a really meaningful trip. And of course, I put all of your prayers. I prayed that all of you who watch these videos be blessed and that your highest good be achieved, your high, and that you all be happy. To the best of my ability, I tried to get your prayers in. All right, let's start with the empath's prayer. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards. And I'm going to talk about some of the general impressions that I feel about some of what's going on, some of my visions for 2024. Okay, so the first vision I had, or the first impressions I had of 2024, had to do with the world coming together to deal with the economic crisis. So there's an economic crisis that is happening, and a lot of it has to do with COVID. So it's not really, you can't really blame politicians for this, but a series of problems happened when the COVID epidemic happened, and it created a rift between China and the rest of the world. It had an impact on their trade, their tourism, faith in China. So China went through a really hard period. One of the things I feel that's going to be happening is that it is to the best of the planet that we come together, stop calling each other evil, and learn to cooperate a little bit more with one another, even if we don't always agree with the philosophies that run a particular country. I'm not talking about human rights violations, which of course we have to, if anyone's dealing with human rights issues, but this feels to me like there's a new kind of honesty that's starting to happen between Xi and China and the West, which is we can all get into rhetoric, but the bottom line is I see people crunching numbers. I see people crunching numbers, and I see people working with China intellectually to see what they, in plain words, it looks like cooperation is what 2024 is about. Cooperation. That those who are sane, that those those people who are sane enough to have a conversation about creating functional societies are the people that are going to be in charge. That a lot of what we will see in 2024 is cooperation between the US and China to steer the boat away from a global economic collapse. And that means that China has to cooperate and work with the West and make compromises and address some of the criticisms by the West regarding issues like human rights, the treatment of workers, public health concerns, and how they may impact global health concerns. China has to get honest about that. But in return, there is this cooperation. And I just see this really intense energy of it's almost like bookkeepers and money people. They've stopped the rhetoric. I don't see rhetoric between the East and West in 2024. My trade route, fighting, and both sides are struggling. And instead, it's like they lay down arms and they say, well, what's your beef with me? And there seems to be running to find solutions. So 2024 is about running to find solutions and global cooperation to avoid economic collapse, addressing issues like human rights, addressing issues about creating a fair society for everyone. That is the theme of 2024. And it dissipates the tensions between the East and the West quite a bit, because part of what's going on right now in the Middle East is a war between who's going to control the trade routes in the Middle East. Is it going to be the Western Alliance, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Dubai, the US, EU trade routes versus, Russia, Iran, Syria, China? We've got this competition happening. This competition is leading us towards a very dangerous direction, right? As we fight for our trade. And instead, there's kind of an exhaustion happening. It feels like people are just exhausted from the war. And instead of attacking and rhetoric, there's this feeling instead of cooperation. The base of the matter is Two of Wands, again, which has to do with trade. If you look at the original meaning of the Two of Wands, he's holding the globe and he's concerned about global trade and cooperation. I love reading the cards before I open them. And that's really what we see in 2024. How can we come together, unite? Unity, cooperation for the good of the planet is the theme of 2024. And good stars, the stars are aligned in 2024. Anything that divides, anything that creates tension is going to be dismissed in 2024. The first house is the Six of Cups. How do we return back to love, old alliances, healing old grievances? People are done with war and people are interested in the good life. Let's get rid of the crazies. Let's get rid of the bad people and the terrorists, put them in jail or send them to The Hague and let the international community deal with it, right? And instead, most people, 90-something%, are good. So let's not be terrorized. Let's get rid of the bad people. Let's work out our differences and come together and cooperate to create a beautiful world. So we also have this 10 of Wands, and that's the rebuild, the carry of the heavy load. So we see the rebuild in Gaza. We're going to see peace there. And the Arab world and the Israeli world coming together to create this beautiful healing and cooperation in Gaza, because people are done with it. Where we are right now, we're trapped by red tape. An example of that would be the EU and Brexit. So we have to bring the experts in to unravel the legal situation and the economic situation that we have unfortunately talked ourselves into. And what sits below us is movement. Chariot is a desire to get this ball going and to get it going very, very quickly. What we're coming out of is interesting. This is a card that's come up a lot. It's the Knight of Cups, and I often see it as uh, the ambassador of peace. It's when you send diplomats to go and offer good tidings to your adversaries so that they can, make peace. And what we're coming into is the time of karma. It just feels, I mean, energetically, like people are just done with what's going on in Ukraine. They're done with Putin. The other thing I felt when I went into this energy is that nobody was listening to Putin anymore. It's like talk, 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 talk. 87% of his troops dead. People don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth anymore. And when you've lost the audience, when people have stopped listening to you, when people have stopped listening to your rhetoric, you've lost power. And so I just feel like when I go into the energy of Putin, he's talking to an empty room and life is going on without him. The first house is the devil. This is something also regarding what is happening now, which is our alliances. If you're connected with Hamas, for example, or if you're connected with a terrorist organization or a corrupt politician, or if you make money selling people or drugs, right, etc., chained to the devil. It can be chained to addiction, drugs, human trafficking, corrupt government. But devil has an issue of being chained. Many of us felt chained under the Trump administration, for example. We literally felt as if we were chained to this thing and we couldn't get rid of it. The other, or our opposition. A new beginning, or Four of Wands, would indicate constructing something new. From the ashes will come something new. I think that this is one of the reasons why I saw Nikki Haley probably snagging the GOP candidacy. I don't think she wants to play second fiddle. We've already had a female VP, been there, done that. No, she feels she can win. And she will likely pick a male as a running mate. But I doubt that Nikki Haley is going to be a second fiddle because she's the one that's leading. The hopes and the fears at this time, a female in dark. I think that's Nikki Haley. I think she is the person to beat. People argue with me about how terrible Nikki Haley is. I am not voting for Nikki Haley. My job as a remote viewer, as a psychic, is to tell you where I feel the energy is leading, and to not have my personal opinion have anything to do with it. And the energy falls with Nikki Haley. Now, she could mess it up. For example, Elizabeth Warren had great energy going into the elections of 2020, but unfortunately she fell short. The same could happen for Nikki Haley, but certainly the energy is with Nikki Haley right now. And the final outcome is 10 of Pentacles, which is our inheritance, both the good and the bad of our inheritance. That means that right now it is very important for all of us to get our house in order, to make sure that the karmic wheel, the inheritance, is a positive inheritance. And that comes from creating goodness now, right? Where you plant seeds now and then you inherit them later. The clarification for 2024 is 9 of Wands over the devil. So we will probably continue with prosecutions, etc. People attempting to flee thief. So this is looking like we're going to be seeing prosecutions, more trials, etc. regarding thieves who stole large sums of money. And then the final outcome over that is, again, here, the bookkeeper's card, pounding away the money, trying to get the economy stabilized for 2024. So again, it's kind of like you wonder if a prince is going to come and save us in 2024. Who's the knight on the white horse? It's the bookkeepers, it's the accountants, it's the intellectuals, it's the people that understand economic finances. And so it's really a year of just putting ourselves together financially. All right, so I'm going to get to the best of my ability over the next couple minutes, do some blitzes just to see specifics for all of you. The first question we got had to do with whether or not we would see indictments against people that were part of the coup that are currently in Congress. I think Tuberville is leaving. There's something here talking about the end, certain people in positions of power coming to an end, and hopes and fears, issues of power. But you can see here, Seven of Wands, a need to defend one's territory. I'm seeing the end of MAGA. You know, it's also been there's just this confusion and this spin out of MAGA. That's the best way to describe it. MAGA is over. They arrested a lot of the extremists. You can see here just a total spin out, the moon over this energy over Congress. Also, the opposition, they're not only finished, but they begin to cannibalize. I always see this cannibalism over Congress due to foolish behavior. But more than anything over Congress, the MAGA people, you have this wheel of fortune as they desperately attempt to defend their position, but they're basically dissolving. It goes back to this overall theme of 2024, which is that people like Putin lose power in the sense that no one believes their rhetoric anymore. Same with Trump, same with religious extremism. They simply fall away because of this lack of faith in their ability to do what they say they're going to do. In terms of 45, I'll look at 45's future really quickly. He loses strength. People walk away from him. He's lost overall support. People simply don't trust him. And I think instead they're moving towards leadership. I see another man coming in. You can see here walking away. Five of Pentacles is a poverty card. He's left abandoned and broke. You can see here the death. This is his future. Fear of incarceration. So incarceration, I think he's going to make a deal. And I think we're looking at some type of incarceration. And then this is a G-Man's card. It can be FBI, but it also indicates a new man coming onto the scene. Total confusion with Trump. I mean, the man is a mess. He's got the moon card, confusion, death, walking away, fearing incarceration. It's over for Trump. I'm not feeling DeSantis. I'm not feeling, it could be that new guy. Was this Rami Swan? Is that his name? I'm sorry. I don't keep up with everything. But it looks like another man is entering into a position of power that's not Donald Trump. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and, close now, and then I'll do a part 2 hopefully later for all of you. I don't want to have it go too long, but those are the predictions for 2024. Expect more stability, more focus on economic stability. We're going to see a stabilization of our relationship with China. And we're moving away from war. We could see the end of the war in Ukraine simply because people have lost faith with Putin, and people are instead want to get back to work. They want to clean things up, and they want to get their economics back on track. And so anyone that is part of distension or fighting, people are done with that. And instead, the only people that anyone is listening to are the people that are offering constructive solutions that stabilize the planet and get people back to the good life. All right, I want to thank you for watching this quick video on predictions for 2024. Be sure and like and subscribe. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, be sure and check out the information below. I am available both for phone consultations, but also pre-taped videos, which are fairly inexpensive through Whimsy. And of course, be sure and like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much, everyone. Be well. Bye-bye.